Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How is it going? So, as you can see, the setup is a little bit different today. We moved to the floor, wanted to do this more traditional style because today's video, the topic is going to be something a little bit more intimate, if you will. I'm going to be talking about something that, I don't know, I just wanted to be a little bit more up close and personal. Just, I'm trying out this new mic thing. So if you guys like this, we can continue. But anyway, let's get into the video. I had a breakdown a few days ago because I don't know at what point this video is going to be released, but I'm turning 30. What? Like midlife crisis or whatever it's called. I don't think it's midlife. Midlife crisis is 40, right? I don't know. But to be honest, I still feel like I'm in my mid-20s, my late 20s. I don't feel like I'm 30. Not that I know what 30 is supposed to feel like because I'm there, so I should know what it feels like. But I've been calling myself 30 for the past year anyway. Anytime I talk to people, I was like, yeah, I'm like 30. I'm like 30 years old. I'm not 30 years old. Why am I telling people that? But anyways, the reason for my breakdown is because I was being really hard on myself about where I am in life. I thought I would have had a lot more figured out in terms of career and this YouTube thing. I was hoping at this point, I would have popped off, but I feel so irrelevant. But the funny thing about that is that you have to be relevant to become irrelevant, right? That's part of the whole thing. So I was like, man, I'm 30 years old and I couldn't hit these milestones or these things that I've been trying for a long time. Like, why am I not good enough? I went into a whole spiral and I was like, dude, you went to a good schools and why did you end up where you are? Right? And in reflecting on that, I feel in many ways I was being ungrateful because I have a lot to be excited about and happy about and thankful for because I have accomplished a lot. I think sometimes I don't give God enough credit. I was going to say give myself enough credit, but let's be real about that. I don't thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enough for this. So anyway, I started a sulk for a good 36 hours and I did have a little session, and so I thought, why not turn that negative energy into something a little bit more productive, positive. Hustle culture is toxic. So I thought, let's turn this into a video. So today's video is going to be all about mental health and my perspectives and my experiences and lots of my mouth moving and you guys listening or clicking to another video because it's boring. Please stay with me. Don't click away. But anyway, welcome to the video. So I know that this is a big topic nowadays, not only in the Muslim community, but in society at large. Mental health is a big thing, especially this past year and a half with COVID. I think it's really brought it to the spotlight and how many people are affected by not having good mental health. Who is gauging what good mental health is? That's a good question. I would like to throw that out. Who is the arbitrator of that? I'm just going to hope that means something that I'm trying to say. I'll be honest, I didn't grow up in a household where my parents did not believe in mental health or depression. It was kind of the opposite. My dad would literally be looking at me and he'd be like, are you depressed? And then he would tell my mom, I think she's depressed. Yeah, it was more than you would think. Because the thing is, the stereotypical idea is that it's the opposite of that Desis don't really believe in mental health. So yeah, I can't say that when I see those TikToks I relate, but it's funny because I need to get off of TikTok because there's so much misinformation. I feel like I'm just becoming stupider the more I'm on it, but I can't help it. I want to be on it, but I also feel like I'm learning a lot of really cool things. Anyway, Desi culture is all about being the best, right? So you can't be the best at physics, mathematics, economics, SAP modeling. You can't be good at all that and have good mental health. That's not part of the equation. The equation is you plus lots of work and no sleep equals being the best. But anyway, I would say I have decent mental health. Again, who is gauging this? I don't know. I'm also not good at mathematics, economics, any of the above, anything that I mentioned. But I say decent considering the fact that I am the eldest child of an immigrant family. So you know that can't only take. If you know, you know. I'm just going to leave it there. But before I say more, I want to tell you guys about the sponsor of today's video, and I want to thank them. Thank you, Betterhelp. If you are from the Muslim community, if you're an immigrant, I know that there's something interfering with your mental health. There is 100% going to be something. Whatever it is, balancing all of that is too much. It's too much for my shoulders. And it could be preventing you from achieving your goals. So I can say that when I was not in a really good place, it was really hard for me to see clearly or have the energy or motivation to do what I wanted to achieve because I felt like I was in a black hole. But Betterhelp will assess your needs and they'll match you with your own licensed professional therapist. And you can start communicating within 48 hours. Now, it's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online. Sometimes you may feel like, oh, okay, like where am I going to find a therapist who fits my needs? The cool thing about Betterhelp is that there's such a broad range of expertise because Betterhelp has a 15,000 plus counselor network, which may not be locally available for a lot of people in different areas. Now, the service is available for clientele worldwide. You can log into your account at any time and send your counselor a message. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule a weekly video or phone call. You won't have to sit in a traditionally uncomfortable waiting room. You can schedule weekly calls with them, whether it's video or through the phone. Now, BetterHelp is really committed to getting you the right match, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. The nice thing is that it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is also available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. Visit betterhelp.com/TazzyPhe. That's BetterHelp, HELP, and join the over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. Now, special offer for TazzyPhe viewers, get 10% of your first month at BetterHelp/TazzyPhe. Now back to the video. But truly, I do think that there is a lack of trust that comes when you come from a community like mine. I have struggled with wanting to find a therapist because I'm like, one, if I find somebody who's from my background, whether that's religious or ethnic or both, I'm like, I don't really trust that they wouldn't go tell somebody. And I feel like everybody knows everybody. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form. And I'm like, I don't know. I also don't want somebody who's not familiar or from my background because I'm like, they're not going to understand what I'm talking about and I'm going to feel like I have to explain myself, and I don't really want to go through that, and I feel like they won't understand where I'm coming from. Like, I've had 6 free sessions from work for like 3 years and I still haven't scheduled them because I'm like, I don't know what's stopping me, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to use BetterHelp and I'm going to do it. Wink, wink. Now, there are a lot of Muslims, I will say, who will dismiss mental health issues as demon possession or maybe misdiagnose, I think, or they'll blame it on the evil eye. And I'm not going to say that spirituality isn't a big part of mental health, because I truly believe that it's a big component of that, if not maybe even the foundation. The problem that I think a lot of people take is that they don't have a holistic approach. They're only looking at one piece of the puzzle. Like, they're unable to accept that having an approach that combines that with medicine and psychology can, complete it and make it a lot more effective. But anyway, let's switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about my own mental health. We're gonna get personal. A history of my mental health. Now, I have shared a lot of videos on this channel, and with whatever story or experience that's being shared in a video, I usually kind of lay the ground and tell you guys what my state of mind was at the time. But there's a lot more to that, and I choose to keep a lot of that personal because oversharing, not gonna do that. Yeah. And no. Do you guys like my singing? I feel like it's annoying. I like it. So you guys can listen to your Celine Dion's and Ariana Grande's, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sing to myself because it's soothing. Therapy, better mental health. Get it? I do think that some things should be saved for therapy, people that you trust, and emotional prayer sessions, if you know what I'm saying. But through all the difficulties and depressed times, I feel like I've become a stronger person mentally. Alhamdulillah. Thanks to God. And I feel like over all that time, I've found things that work for me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the things that help me with my mental health. So the ones that I'm about to talk about are all kind of interconnected, but I'm going to try to dissect them if I can. And I guess I'll start off by saying that I think it's important to break up the monotony. And that might be dependent on what kind of person you are. Maybe your problem is you don't have enough monotony. Maybe you want stability. But for me, I like to go do something different every couple of weeks. I like to be somewhere else. I like to have a different experience every few weeks. And part of that is taking time off from work. I remember I was a contractor for quite a good chunk of time, and it kind of sucked because I never had PTO. If I didn't work, I didn't get paid. And I used to look at people who had like salaried jobs with benefits, and I was like, this sucks. Like, I had an eye surgery and I couldn't even see properly. I couldn't even see my computer. Like, I literally couldn't see. I didn't have eyesight. And it's not like I could just put glasses on. Like, I just couldn't see. And I went back to work and I just started working. I was like, no, I want to have the money. Anyway, it's kind of messed up, but there's people with way worse stories. So this is not a sob story. I'm just explaining this to you guys. Even now that I have PTO, I feel like sometimes I am really I'm not generous with myself about it. Like, I don't want to use it. I'm like saving it up for, I don't know what I'm saving it up for. Like, if I have to take a day off, I'm like, let me calculate this. I don't know. That means that I only have like 25 days left. No, just kidding. But something like that. And so now I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's important that I just take some days off, even if it means that I'm not doing anything. That's the point. That's the point of time off, paid time off, right? So my third thing, and then I'm going to tie up these three together. I feel like doing things that I like to do when I was a kid, and feeding that inner child makes me a lot happier as a person. So being creative, making videos. I used to make videos as a kid. Like, I used to take my parents' camcorder, like direct my friends and do all that. And in some, when it doesn't feel like I'm like working, or I feel like, sometimes this gets annoying, but I really feel like it feeds me, like it makes me feel good. And the other thing that I really love to do when I was a kid, I loved to be outside. Like, I was a kid who was also outside swimming, jumping around, doing stuff, running in sprinklers, whatever. Like, I was outside all day, every day on my bike, like just always getting into stuff. And I would be dead tired, and then I'd be like so exhausted and just go to sleep. And as I became an adult, the less and less I got time to do stuff like that. So that's why I enjoy hiking and doing those things that remind me of when I was a kid. I'll give you an example. So Munir and I went to Florida in the middle of July, and we went to the beach, and he was just laying down and just chilling. And for me, like, I kept going into the water and just diving like a fish. Like, a fish don't dive, but I just kept like over and over, like, and I knew that I looked like a little kid. And I felt like a little kid, but it made me so happy. And it's like one of my most favorite things to do. And then recently I went to Colorado and I did some hiking, and I didn't even know that I really needed that, but it was the same kind of thing. It was just outside all day, no work. And I just, whether it was like walking around in the sun or like hiking, I would go home and I could just put my head to the pillow and just boom, done. And when I got back to Texas and got back into my work routine, I realized like how much I needed that. Like, I didn't even realize how much that fulfilled me. And so to kind of tie the 3 points about, breaking up the monotony, taking time off for yourself, and doing things that you used to do as a kid that really like rejuvenate you and feed your soul. Those were things for me. I took time off. I traveled a little bit, and I did what I wanted to do. And I know this sounds like to seem, not everybody can do that, but I feel like people on the internet are like that so much that they're always like, just acknowledge that. I acknowledge that, but whatever it is for you and whatever is in your capacity, whatever's holding you back, if that's like you don't want to use all your time, or whatever it is, you don't want to be I don't know, it's just worth it, I feel like, for your mental health. And one thing that I think really reset me a little bit, back in March, I was working really hard for my job, and I realized it was taking a toll on my health. I was like grinding my teeth in the night. I was drinking coffee. I maybe drink like 4 cappuccinos a week, maybe, like, and I do that for fun. Like, I don't drink it for energy. But at that point, I was drinking coffee and tea and all that because I could not like get enough done. It was like I felt like I would wake up, work, and then by the time I'd go to sleep, like I would still be working, and then I'd wake up, and it was the most depressing thing ever. Like, it made me feel so bad. And it's not like I went to an office and worked either. It was like, I don't know, there's like perks to working from home, but it can also like not be good for your mental health if you are chained to your desk. It feels like your own home is a jail. But anyway, I think I had a really moment of clarity at some point, and it was taking a toll on my mental health, not just grinding my teeth. Like there were a lot of other symptoms that I was experiencing. And I had a moment where I stepped back and I was like, am I going to be thinking about this job on my deathbed? Why am I stressing so much to the point where I'm letting this ruin my body? And in that moment, I don't know, there was just like a mental shift for me that I was like, I have to have time for myself, and nothing is worth my health like that. And however I have to figure out time, whether that means I have to wake up earlier and go to sleep and have that time in the morning to myself or whatever it is, I have to figure out a way. And mentally, like I cannot get so stressed about things that I'm not going to lose my job over that. So why am I like letting it come into my dreams? When it was coming into my dreams, I was like, this is too much. So anyway, and I know that there's people who don't have the luxury of that, but I think it's important to take time for yourself, take time off. And how do I say this like without sounding stupid, but don't take your job so seriously. That sounds really stupid, but it's a means to an end. It's your paycheck. So just keep that in mind sometimes. All right. The other thing that I think is really good for your mental health is to detox from your phone. Now, this is one that like everyone talks about, and the irony of me saying this in a YouTube video, what the heck? But I think it's really important. I think stepping away from your phone, these apps that like are constantly feeding you videos all the time, like there's so many studies out there and documentaries that, you know, we know that this is bad for our mental health. It's creating anxiety. It's like giving us competition in our head for like stupid things. It's like making us feel inadequate because we're constantly being marketed to. So I think it's really important to just shut it off. You know, I noticed for me that when I shut off my phone or like I do a detox, I can think a lot more clearly. I remember I did this like for one Ramadan or right before Ramadan started, like a few years ago. And I had a lacrosse game and I went to go play and I could not believe how much I could focus in the game. Like I was playing so well and I was so on point because I was focused. And I feel like something, especially like TikTok, where there's sounds, like if you're listening to this audio all the time, bro, how many of us, you're getting on the janamaz and you're about to pray and you know all those songs. I don't know who knows that song, but you know, those songs over and over. And some of them have really like not good messaging. And we're just like over and over and over listening to it and it's stuck in our head. And that definitely does something to your mental health. So I think it's important to know like what you're letting into your brain and take that more seriously and not like, it's funny because I feel like I used to make fun of like religious people, not make fun of, but like be like, oh my God, you know, like, you know, when the auntie or like some person would be like, don't listen to this is bad, you know, and you're just like, okay, whatever. I feel like now I'm understanding that. Like, I'm like, the more you listen and watch bad things or like things that are negative or like evil is a weird, like however you define evil, but something that's not good, you know, or puts you in a bad mood or whatever it is. I can see how what you consume affects you. And I think it's really important to monitor that. Like, so anyway, whatever you can do to control that, even if that's totally, I feel like if I didn't have a YouTube channel and have this thing, I feel like I would not be on social media, but I say that, but that's how I feel. I would be off the map. Okay. The other thing. So, I would say like 4 years ago, I don't know, maybe less than that, I tried cupping. It was an interesting experience. I just want to talk about this. So I did hijama and it was weird because I was not expecting it to feel the way it did. And so for those of you guys who don't know, that's actually wet cupping. So it's like, well, I don't know. I guess you could do dry cupping too, but what I did was wet cupping. And so they, you know, do the thing on your back where like they put the glass on your back. I'm not doing a good job, but like they light it and then the air comes out and yeah, it's cupping. And then they do like small incisions and take out, basically like the bad blood comes out on top. Dude, when that was happening, I felt like I was going to throw up and I was really shocked because I just didn't expect it to feel like it did. And the lady was reading Quran and I don't know, she told me that it wasn't evil eye. Like, I don't think it was anything like that. But I like, after that, I think I read Surah Al-Baqarah for like 30 days and listened to it. No, not read it. I listened to it every day for 30 days and did some du'as and it helped me for a bit. So that's something that you could look into. But I would say like, regardless of whatever you do, you know, not to get like too superstitious about things. I'm just not a person who like Like I believe in that aspect of things, but I also feel like there are people who go down a rabbit hole and completely just like think everything is about superstition and think everything is evil eye. And I'm not saying that it's not real. I did make a video about this, I think, a long time ago, which I'm sure my opinions have changed. But anyway, next thing. So one of the biggest things that I have been thinking about a lot, and I try to recenter myself, especially when I'm feeling low, shifting from impressing people to thinking about impressing God, like that kind of mentality. Because I really truly feel like human beings are terrible judges of character. And I think part of my perspective of that has also come from having this YouTube channel. Like I see people trash talk somebody who's on social media, like just normal people who are not on social media like that. They'll trash talk an influencer or whatever. And I sit there and I'm like, I have a different perspective because I am in that arena. And so I'm like, there's somebody out there just like ripping into me, or who has ripped into me at some point. There's somebody who has. And I realize when people like talk about other people like that, they don't realize that like that's still backbiting and that's still bad. I don't know what this has to do with mental health, but I think I'm trying to loop this all in and get this in. But what I'm trying to say is that human beings, like you don't know. Like there have been times when you see a lot of these things about celebrities where they're like, he was such a nice guy. You don't know if he's a nice guy. Just because he said hi to you and gave you a good tip doesn't mean he's a nice guy. He could have bodies in his basement. Like you don't know. And I realize like how much of my life even is like just my mentality is centered around like what people think, like whether it's the way you dress or like how you act. I don't know, like it's so, especially doing this thing where I'm putting videos out, it's all about the feedback that I get, and so naturally my mind is centered in that way where I'm really focused on like what people think, regardless of how much I want to say, I don't care what people think. Everybody does in their own way. And that's why also when people give me compliments or say stuff about my content that they like it or whatever, I try to make it a point to not let it like uplift me or like get to me, because you guys watch the video and you guys appreciate it, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate that you guys like me for whatever I do. But at the end of the day, I'm like, only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only God knows like who I really am and like what I do, so that's something that I've kind of shifted. And how does this help my mental health? I think when you're obsessed with what society or people think of you, your mental health is going to be bad, because everything is about external validation. And the truth of the matter is you're not going to always get external validation, and sometimes it's fake and it's not authentic and it's not real love. And so, you have to, I don't know, like now I think I'm searching for that in a different way, and just shifting my perspective for the sake of me and my mental health and my spiritual growth and all of that. Because the thing is, like, when I go back to why I was feeling really sad about turning 30, it does go back to societal expectations. Okay, I don't think that would have made my mental health better if I became like some huge success at 30. Who knows? The route that I took and the journey that my life took is meant for a reason. Every time I make a mistake, like something really stupid, like I packed these mugs that I love. Maybe I'll show them to you guys in a video. Maybe if you guys like this like sit down thing, I'll show you guys my mugs. But I got these beautiful Turkish mugs that I found from Home Goods, and they said made in Turkey, and they're like just right up my alley. And one of them broke and one of them didn't. Now, one of them I wrapped properly in the suitcase, and one of them I was lazy about. And I knew in the back of my head, I was like, this might break. But when it broke, I was really sad. And then I was like, whatever. I was like, you know what this is teaching me? Now, when I actually go to Turkey one day or go somewhere where I buy something that I really like, I'm going to pay more attention to the way that I wrap it. So I look at everything now like things are a lesson, people are a lesson, the mistakes you make are a lesson. And, society and people can be a means to an end to help guide me, but they are not the thing that guides me, and they should not be the compass or the benchmark or whatever it may be. Okay, so the next thing is practicing gratitude. I think practicing gratitude is really difficult. It's a really difficult thing, especially when we're talking about being in a society where you are constantly expected to like be this unrealistic version of yourself and have like the best clothes and be fit and be all these things at the same time. Like everything's perfection, right? Having like perfect house and perfect whatever it is, perfect cars, and it's so easy to be unthankful for everything that you have. And practicing gratitude is really, it's a skill, and you have to hone it and you have to develop it, because it's like the more you do that, the more it's like an instinct that the minute you feel yourself being ungrateful for something, you're like, no, wait a second, don't be like that, you know, and you check yourself. And I feel that when you are grateful for what you have, and when you go through that exercise, it does improve your mental health, because I'm saying this from my own experience. I feel like I'm just happier because I'm like, you know what? No, I have everything I need. And I need to, because what makes me unhappy and what affects my mental health is when I feel like I don't have what I need. And I start putting these expectations on myself, or I think I'm not good enough, or, you know, whatever it is. The last one that I want to talk about is complicated, because I think it's a twofold thing, and that is socializing. I have worked from home for a while now. I've done the work from home thing before COVID, and so I feel like I've already had experience with it to know that, like, you know, people would romanticize it when people like found out I work from home. They're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And I'm like, you know, it's not like all that it's cracked out to be, because cracked up to whatever. It's not that great, because if you think about it, you wake up, you come out of your bed, you go to a desk. Sometimes that desk may be in the same room as your bed. And then you just go back to your bed. And to relax, you go into the living room, you watch TV, or you watch your phone on your bed. And so I found that was really impacting my mental health. Not seeing people, not going anywhere, not interacting with other human beings. It can really like send you into a weird place. On the flip side of that, I also feel like socializing too much can also take you to a place with what I was talking about earlier. And that is when you start to like just be like, oh, she has this, she has that. Oh, I'm not dressed nice enough. Why do I, you know, and then you start feeling inadequate. But I guess if you're a really secure person, you don't feel like that. But I'm just assuming that everybody has that somebody who makes them feel that way, or, you know. Anyway, socializing can go both ways, because I think when I break up the monotony and I get opportunities to see people, whether it's my friends or Munir's family or whatever it is, I feel better. I feel like I'm in a better mental state, because I'm not, you know, just in my own little head, in my own world. However, I think also from an Islamic perspective, one of the things to help, you know, if you have some like flaws or some things that you're working on, is to retreat and to really work on yourself. And so it goes both ways. There's also that aspect when you start to socialize too much of the keeping up with the Joneses. Like, nobody's immune to that. These are all general statements that I'm making, but I really feel like nobody is immune to that. But I think it is important to like see people and like be a part of community and all that kind of stuff regardless, because you can kind of go crazy if you're just with yourself and you don't have like a shift of your perspective, you know. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. I talked a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is different than my other videos. It definitely was a lot more intimate. So let me know what you guys think. And I'd also like to know what you guys do for your mental health. How do you keep yourself in a good condition mentally? What are your tips for each other? Let me know in the comments below. And you guys are great. And have a nice day. Was my hair sticking up the whole time? My apologies. Oh, like, comment, subscribe. You know what? You can check out my podcast. You can follow me on TikTok. I'm trying to get to 10K on TikTok so that I can... Why am I doing that? Anyway, so I can apply for the creator fund or whatever. All right, guys. TazzyPhe out. Bye.